Welcome to the Modern Stock Car East Coast Regional. In race number 3 out of 20 in our inaugural season, we are here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway in Hampton, Georgia for the running of the Aaron's 200 in the first leg of a double header here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, as I had just mentioned. This is going to be an interesting part of the schedule, since this is the last part of the 3-race stretch where the MSCCT and the MSCECR have aligning schedules. In the first race of the season, both divisions ran at Daytona. In the second race, both divisions ran at Homestead, and now both divisions are running at Atlanta. This is where they split off and they form their own separate things. The MSCECR in race number 4 will compete at Darlington in the Bojangles 250, and the MSCCT will go up to freezing cold upstate New York for the Geico 350 at Watkins Glen, our first road course of the season. That, of course, will be extremely interesting because we have one more road course added to the schedule than we did in years past, so it adds a little bit more variety than what we're used to, especially since we're used to only like 4 road courses per year. Season 2 only had 4 road courses, and this year, if I count on my schedule, we got 1, 2, 3, we have 4, 5 road courses. So we're adding an extra. Watkins Glen and Riverside are your 2 road course races in the first half, and then in the second half we have 3, 2 in the regular season and 1 in the playoffs. You have the New Hampshire road course as a part of the Planet Fitness doubleheader, and then the Lime Rock Park road course race will actually close off the regular season. And then in the third race of the playoffs, we have the TD Bank 350 from Mosport, also known as Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, which is our only Canadian race this year, as it was last year. So that will be interesting for our 5 road courses. The MSCECR is no different when it comes to the road ringers, because we have an astounding total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 road courses as well. So, it's 10 road courses this year. Some are different, some are the same. Lime Rock Park is being shared with both divisions, and that's really the only road course that is being shared between both divisions, because you have, for the Cup division, you have Watkins Glen, but Watkins Glen is not on the MSCECR schedule, so that is partly because of the fact that it was hard to get some contracts in, and it was hard to make it good on the schedule, especially since you already have the New York City Street Court Clash, which is going to be absolutely insane. It'll be our first ever street course that we run. I'm extremely excited for that, but that is a long ways away. That is race number 17, so by that time, it'll be way, way into the second half. So I wouldn't hold your breath, as it's a long ways away, but that's the reason why there was no Watkins Glen on the MSCECR schedule, mainly because you already have the New York City Street Clash. Why have 2 road courses in New York? But for the MSCECR, there are some other road courses that you might find of interest, including Virginia International Raceway, also known as VIR, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, also known as Montreal, in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. There's New Jersey Motorsports Park in southern New Jersey. You have the New York City Street Course Clash, and you have Lime Rock Park as well. And then for the Cup division, you have Watkins Glen, you have Riverside in California, you have the New Hampshire Road Course, you have Lime Rock Park, and then you have Mosport in Ontario, Canada. So with that being said, on the pole today is Greg Shetner. This is his second pole of the season already. He didn't do too good in his Daytona race, even though he did start on the pole. He finished outside of the top 20. So just keep that in mind, because whenever he starts on the pole, he doesn't seem to always do the best. So he's kind of proving today and throughout this entire season that just because you're starting up front and just because you have a good qualifying time does not mean that you're going to be there at the end, and it does not mean in any way that you are going to be in victory lane at the end of the day. With that being said, to his outside is the 04 of Zay Williams. He will be running his last MSCECR race here. He will not be returning to the roster when it comes to Watkins Glen. So just stay tuned for that, as the field will reduce from 37 drivers to 36 when it comes time for Darlington for race number 4 of the Modern Stock Car East Coast Regional. With that being said, let's take a look at Leland Hill in the number 54 car as we look at his onboard for the driver command of the Aaron's 200 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Look at that Disney Plus board to his right. Here we go.
Drivers, start your engine!
go out there and have a good time today. Make it happen at the end, my friend. Say something up here. Get ready to rock and roll. Good luck to you guys on pit road down there today.
We're going to start with the starting lineup real fast here. We have Greg Shetner and Zay Williams in row 1, Daniel Rivera and Leland Hill in row 2. We have JJU and Eli Sasek in row 3, Jay Bird and Osido Bear in row 4. We have Rusty Shackelford, Alex Nielsen and Richard Birmingham in row 5. Corey James and Dan Wilkins in row 6, Ryan Adama and Julio Cruz in row 7, Rusty Shackelford and Will Fasano in row 8, Allison Rain and Jeff Jeffrey in row 9, Gauze Martinez and Winnie Calhoun in row 10, Tony Shopik and Vincent Crook in row 11, Darian Armsdorf and Keon Daly in row 11, row 12, Sam Joseph and AJ Jones in row 12, row 13 is Luis Aguilar and Avery Radford, row 14 is Chris Lattimore and John Hunter Nemechek, row 15 is Ronnie Martin and Brad Stover, row 16 is Jacob Thibodeau, last week's winner, and Jake Kumanez, and then the last 3 are Stewie Moore, Mitchell Carter, and Matthew Green. So Greg Shetner with his second career pole. They'll take the green flag from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Here we go from the quad oval, 65 laps of exciting racing in the Aaron's 200. We have a green flag. Already almost at 200 miles an hour going into turn number 3 there. And coming off of 4, Daniel Rivera gives them a good run as they're in 2 lines right there, the inside and the outside. They're going at 190 miles an hour as Corey James went way low. Corey James went really low there, and now they're starting to split up a tiny bit. There's Mitchell Carter way down on the inside. JJU is going to make it 3 wide in 3. Daniel Rivera all by himself, sort of hung out to dry, if you will. And Tony Shopik diverging from the pack as well, and JJU. And look at Leland Hill on the outside, getting a good run there. And now he breaks off from Jay Bird and goes to the middle line to get pushed by Daniel Rivera. The 2 pole sitters on the outside, or on the inside and outside of row number 1, Zay Williams and Greg Shetner, they are both now running on the outside line. They really like that outside line, but they're 3 wide all the way through. You can see there's a pack of about 4 cars on the inside there that are really helping each other. That's Bird, James, Shackelford, and Rain, with Tony Shopik a decent bit behind him. As they're now at 197 miles per hour on the back. It reminds me of last year's race in Season 2 at Atlanta, where the drivers, you know, they were, remember, these were the Cup cars that they were driving. They were going 203, 204 down the back, and they were going faster at Atlanta than they were at Daytona. So now they're 3 wide again. Jay Bird trying to get a good run as the 16 gets another decent run on the outside. Oh, Jay Bird slows up a little bit. They're 4 wide as he makes room for Corey James on the inside. He's all by himself in that lane. He sort of made his own lane. Yeah, they are 4 wide all the way up there. As this is... It's got to be potential for disaster, right? I mean, come on. But the 16 of Greg is still holding his line on the outside. He's trying to make things work. Look at that. This is insane. 4 wide. Jay Bird makes a little bit of contact with you. And Corey James is still in 4th. They've all held their line. As Bird got a little bit loose, and so does the 16. They're all over the place. The 5 and the 15 are making contact. They're absolutely banana bonkers, as they're no longer really, well, they are still 4 wide, except it's the 16 that is sort of broken away, and Zay Williams is right behind the 16, and they're trying to make some room. But you can't get it, I mean, this is at least the 4th or 5th lap, that we've seen four-wide racing, and we haven't seen any conflict or any wrecks or anything like that. If you remember, at Homestead during the Cup race, on lap, like, I think it was 8 or 9, they were trying to go 5 wide coming off of turn number 2. And yeah, there's room on the track for that, but should you ever do that on an intermediate? No. That was one of the most numbnuts moves I had really ever seen. So now it looks like Corey James is falling back a little bit, and he's going to get cleared by Jay Bird, so they're now going to no longer be 4 wide, and they're going to just be 3 wide, although that's not the end of it. Looks like the 55, not the 55, was that? Okay, I'm sorry, that's the 40. Their paint schemes were alike. Looks like Gauge Martinez was going to try to make it 4 wide with Fasano and Winnie Calhoun. But that wouldn't have made sense, would it? It wouldn't have. And there's Corey James now in that middle line as Rusty Shackelford goes to his inside. So they are 4 wide, but now just in 3 different rows instead of just the front one. I mean, this is insane pack racing. This is better pack racing than we saw at Daytona. I mean, look at that. There's Sam Joseph and Dan Wilkins in the 31 and 33. Avery Radford as well. Tony Shopik. And this is just an insane battle between Greg Shetner and JJU. As now they're going to go 4 wide again, because here comes Rusty Shackelford on that inside line. They're going crazy. Coming to the line again, lap number 12, as 16 car really got swallowed up by the fans on that camera there. I mean, some people like to hug the inside. Somebody like Greg, he likes to hug the outside. Here comes Zay Williams into the picture again. They're going to be 4 wide. This is pure insanity, to say the least. Zay Williams is going to lead the lap, as Greg is now finally out of that pure outside line, essentially hugging the wall on that high groove. As Shackelford will actually take the lead. But no conflict yet, as I don't know how they've gone 4 wide for so long without having an absolute catastrophe. As Tony Shopik coming into the picture with the help of Radford. Remember, Radford had a good battle at Homestead, but eventually lost the lead to Julio Cruz later on, and eventually didn't have a great finish, but still was able to be a respectable driver on the track. And I mean, you know, look, that race only had really one incident besides the crash on pit lane after the race ended. Okay, let's ignore that. I'm talking about during the actual race itself, during the actual 54-lap event. During that race, there was only one caution, and that was for Julio Cruz and Gauge Martinez tangling up and spinning in turn 4. You know, bygones be bygones. But remember, Cruz and Martinez had led a fair number of laps. So they were all in it to win it, and they were even at the front when the wreck happened. But they ended up just spinning and costing themselves a spot of being a good contender. I mean, even Jay Bird had some noticeable damage when he got scuffed up slowing down for the wonky and wacky pit entrance in turn 3. As they're 4 wide, Shopik in the lead by a hair. But now that's taken away by Zay Williams, as Williams might brake check a little bit. Here comes Leland Hill on the outside. Leland Hill with a great run. And Shopik leads, although he doesn't have much help. It's not bumper to bumper like it is with everybody else. He's more just out there, and there's a big gap, I'd say, of at least a car length between Sasak and Hill. But he's still getting a good run regardless, as Avery Radford and Sam Joseph are getting into the picture. But there's literally 3 rows where they're 4 wide. Actually make that 4 rows of 4 wide. 4 by 4. That's 16 cars packed into an absolutely just small spot. It's like those F1 races where they start like 3 wide, where instead of starting 2 wide, but like they do in NASCAR, they start 3 wide. You know, just like how it is in F1. This is exactly like that, except it's 4 wide, and it's at 190 miles an hour. As here comes Avery Radford. Sasak's going to try to hook onto the back of 54 of Hill. Radford leads. And now Sam Joseph is going to get a good run. He might take the lead. And he comes up the track a little bit and almost made contact with Avery Radford, but is able to save it and hang on. Radford still leads the lap despite that tiny moment of Joseph leading. I mean, she's in the middle line right there, getting help from Rusty Shackelford. And I can't believe we're 20 laps in with still no cautions because of the fact that somehow everybody's been able to survive this 4-wide racing. It's insane. This would never happen in an online lobby or anything like that, but only in the MSCECR can you see such wacky racing at Atlanta. Oh, they're starting to slide up the track a little bit. You can see, like, that transformation of how everyone's going. As you can see right here, that's a pretty small gap. Let's see how small that gap was. 1/1000th of a second. We saw that at the Daytona race, I believe. And even at the Homestead race. I think that was in Cup, but in the Homestead race. There was a good battle where some of the folks were literally, and I mean this in the most literal way, they were tied at the line. 0.000. I don't even know how I would have a decision for something like that. Because what do you do in that situation? Like, if that was the final lap and somebody was tied at the line, do you give the win to both drivers? Or do you flip a coin and see who comes out on top? I don't know how you would judge that. I'm just extremely grateful that I haven't had to use a coin flip to decide a race. Atlanta might be that today, though, because it is really close and really tightly packed together. They're no longer really 4 wide. They're all 3 wide, up, down, and in the middle. They are way, way back there and 4 wide. Or, excuse me, 3 wide. Shopek back at the line. He leads. Sam Joseph running in a solid performance today in that number 31 Chevrolet. Just like how the 16 of Shetner was doing really well when he was running the outside line, this is exactly what's happening to Tony Shopek right now. He's running the outside line, and he's being successful, and he's getting help from Leland Hill, too. It's kind of obvious that if you run the outside or the middle line, you're going to get better leverage than it is if you run the inside line. It's just like with Bristol. If you run the outside line, it's the most preferable line for passing. Yeah, you can still compete on the inside line, but you're much more likely to get positions and pass some drivers, positional, when it comes to positions, if you're running on that high line. The closer to the wall, the better when it comes to that Bristol racing. The grip, or whatever, is really good on the high side, and it's also really bad on the low side. This might be something similar here. Because of how the grooves in the track are aligned, they had a major repaving a few years back in Atlanta, so maybe this is just a result of that. I don't know. Was that 3 drivers at the line? Yup, look at that. Shopek and Hill tied, and Joseph was ahead of him by 4/1000th of a second. So imagine that. You have 2 drivers tied at the line, but it's... oh my gosh, that is crazy. Lap number 27. They might go 4 wide again as Sam Joseph is all by himself, and former champion Winnie Calhoun is on the inside trying to make a good run. 31 and the 23, they're side by side. Let's check out how our top 10, or I should say how our fastest lap, our top 10 fastest laps are looking right now. The fastest time is by the 78. Oh, We might have some... Actually, we're going to see some pit stops here. How about that? So that's interrupted a little bit, but... Looks like Sam Joseph, Tony Shopik, Jeff Jeffrey, Osito Bear, Daniel Rivera, Chris Lattimore, Alex Nielsen, and Dan Wilkins are all going in. Same with Matthew Green, Dave Kumanes, and Stewie Moore. It's Ronnie Martin a bit far back. And JJU made contact with Radford, and there was some big contact between the 42 and the 5. Just take a look. You can see right here. Take a look at our slow-mo cam. Yeah, JJU got right into... Man, look at that drifting. Just saves it and is able to get it going. And some contact between the 34 and the 6. They're not too happy with each other. She's going to get into her pit stall. Yeah, Richard Birmingham has some damage. I wonder if it's a result of running on that outside line and just scraping up against the wall. That could be something. But like I was saying, our top 10 fastest laps right now would be Rusty Shackelford in the 78. He is a 28.968. And then Tony Shopik has a 28.969. Literally 1/100th of a second slower. Then you have Allison Rain with a 28.989. And that's the only ones who have been able to clear the 28-second barrier. You have, looks like, Sam Joseph with a 29.031, and then Brad Stover, Avery Radford, Darian Armsdorf, Corey James, and John Hunter Nemechek, and A.J. Jones to close out the top 10. Speaking of A.J. Jones, there he is in 25th. Looks like we got some folks who are a lap down, but let's take a look at the leaders right now. That would be Julio Cruz, who led for a decent time at Homestead before, of course, he didn't wreck out, but he basically prevented himself from being able to compete because of his tangle up with Gauge Martinez. So he'll be back out on the track, and it looks like 23 car of Tony Shopik will reclaim the lead. Sam Joseph is right behind him. We're getting word from race control that if no further incidents occur on lap 50, we will have a competition caution so that everybody can get caught up to speed. He's going to try to pass Richard Birmingham here. Birmingham is the last car in the lead lap. He's in 36. Sasak is already a lap down, but seems like the rest of the pack is right behind these guys. Yeah, there's a decent pack right there of 4 cars. Shopik looking for his first career win in any level. Now Sam Joseph on his outside. Going to try to make something work here. Looks like there's Ryan Adema too. He's 35th, so this is technically a battle for position between Birmingham and Adema. Although you have the 2 leaders who are actually in control of the show, who are currently desperately trying to pass him, as Birmingham will clear Adema. But does Sam Joseph clear the lapped cars? And they're not even lapped. They're just the last cars on the lead lap. Speaking of, where's the 9 of Eli Sasak? Where is he? Yeah, he's pretty far back there. He is the only car that is not on the lead lap right now, so now Ryan Adema is lapped. Although, that could change if he gets a good run on the outside, and because the 23 and the 31 are both on the inside, that's very well possible. See if he does here. I mean, they're side by side. This is like tandem drafting on an intermediate oval. As it looks like if they can clear him here, then they won't have to worry about him since they'll both be lapped. But there's not even any lapped cars in sight, as Shopik went to clear Birmingham and he was not even close to being clear. But I mean, even Fasano, Hill, Arnsdorf, those are the three cars that are closest to being lapped, but again, they're not that close. Let's take a look at where they are on the track. They're in turns 1 and 2 right now. They are nowhere close to being lapped, and they're not even really in the picture. If you take a look at Shopik's hood, you'll see they are coming up on turn 3 right there. They are barely even in the picture. Sam Joseph has the door wide open for him. Does he make a move on Shopik, as he's basically confined the 98 and the 07 to the outside line? As look at that, they're going to unlap themselves. Good for them. You know, they're working together. They know that they're not really in contention because Adema's in 36th and Birmingham's in 35th. They're nowhere near the front. But if you can unlap yourself, that's actually a good thing that they're unlapping themselves, because this means that if a caution comes out, then they'll be able to, in a way, I don't know how to describe this. They'll be able to get their position back and start the restart on the lead lap, so that they don't have to worry about fighting with the leaders and possibly causing a obstruction. So let's see how the rest of the pack is doing besides Sam Joseph and Tony Shopik, since they are currently running the show. We have in third Avery Radford, followed by Chris Lattimore, Ocido Bear, and Jeff Jeffrey. We then have the 7 of Winnie Calhoun back there with Eli Sasak, the lapped car, Dan Wilkins, and Brad Stover. And then in 10th, you have Jay Bird a little bit further back, and then J.J. Newman 11th, Daniel Rivera in 12th. And then in 13th, just out of view, that would be Matthew Green in 3rd. Like I said, our fastest lap is still Rusty Shackelford, who at this time is nowhere near the front. He's almost 10 seconds off the pace from the rest of the leaders. He is 9.95 seconds back in 21st. And as we speak, Adema is a lap down, but Birmingham isn't, so as we are on 9 or 8 laps to go until the competition caution is scheduled. Remember, a competition caution was scheduled for Homestead. And then guess what? There was no caution. There was no, conflict that made it change. Or I should say there was conflict that did make it change, because Julio Cruz and Gauge Martinez wrecked. So I should say the competition caution was voided as a result of that. I think I had a brain go blank moment. I don't know. That was... Because it's sometimes where I just say stuff and, I don't even realize I'm saying it. But, in any case, I sort of just stare off into the sun. No, well, not into the sun, because it's at night. I'm surprised at how good the racing has especially been, with the fact that this is the end of January in Hampton, Georgia. It's currently 48 degrees with a decent breeze of 10 miles an hour. So the real feel is 44 degrees. You have to imagine a lot of these fans are bundling up. For Daytona this year, the MSCECR race, it was 73 degrees. Not bad. It's at night. It's not bad at all. Then the Homestead race was even better. 78 degrees. That's wonderful. 78 degrees. It's perfect. And then for Atlanta, boom, 48 degrees with cloudy skies and a 10-mile-per-hour wind. But weather is unpredictable like that. You can't predict weather unless your name is Mother Nature, or if you're a weatherman. Then you can predict weather. There's actually a lot of weather people. Weathermen, weatherwomen. weather people, weather folks, the people that stand in front of the green screen on national television or regional television or local television in your own home, You know, I just had an interesting thought. What if you combined a home and an automobile? Wouldn't that just be an RV? But instead of calling it an RV, and you call a car an automobile. So would you call a home in an automobile? I don't know. Would you call it like a homomobile? Or actually, that doesn't sound. That sounds more like a practical joke than anything. I'm just cracking myself up because that was a good joke. In any case, lap number 48 in order. You can see this pack right here. They're charging on. They're 3 wide. They have a decent pack of, I'd say, 8, 9 cars that are leading the way. And they have one lapped car that's sort of, in the midst of it all. He's running with Lattimore and Stover. And wouldn't you know, this is really good. Oh, look at Winnie Calhoun. He's going to try to make it 4 wide up there. Osito Bear trying to resist. Resistance is futile, as they say. I think that's what they say, right? Yeah, that's what they say. This competition caution will be coming up right here, but this is going to make it really interesting. Because if Adama and Birmingham can hold off the leaders, they're going to restart on the lead lap. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to really be good strategics there. As look at that. Tony Shopik leads as the yellow flag comes out. And what an interesting turn of events, right? I mean, that is very interesting. They were able to hold off the lapped cars. And Tony Shopik in the 23 will lead at the caution, the first of the day. And it looks like they waited until now to slow down. I don't know why they did a whole lap to slow up, but it's interesting. Caution is out though. They are going to slow up for the pace car. Chevrolet Camaro. So we're going to have to wait for the rest of the field to catch up, does it? I think they're going to pit. This will be interesting. Unless they're sabotaging the pace car and wishing for its untimely demise. Which wouldn't be too far out of the picture, right? Yeah, they're going to both go to pit lane. That's exactly what we're going to see. Does Lattimore stay out here? I don't know. No, Lattimore's coming in. I think everybody's coming in, if I'm being honest. Everybody's coming in except for Eli Sasak, who's going to come around and possibly stay on the lead lap. He's going to get back on the lead lap, is what I should say. Everybody's coming in. Sasak is the only guy who doesn't take, but I don't even think he can come in because of the rules surrounding when lapped cars can come in. Because if we look at our thing, when Sasak in the 9 car comes around, then if he comes in, then that'll mean just, he can't come in on the first time by. So you see all the folks coming in there. You get to watch a peaceful race off the pit road. Whoa! Almost made contact with the 40 car there. This is giving everybody a chance to, fuel up, get some new tires on that truck, and sort of hit the reset button. This is exactly what I said with what happened at the Homestead race, Everybody was fighting with each other, everybody was being crazy, and then once the caution came out, they were able to reset and put themselves all on the same page. Because now, because of the pit stops, Chris Lattimore is in second and Sam Joseph is in third. If it weren't for that competition caution, Lattimore wouldn't have gained anything. He just would have been, you know, right there in second the whole way because they were in front of everybody else. Your current top 10, Tony Shopik, Chris Lattimore, Sam Joseph, Ocido Bear, Winnie Calhoun, Brad Stover, Jay Bird, Alex Nielsen, Matthew Green, and Avery Radford. As of this point, 36 cars are on the lead lap. All 37 are on track. This could be the second race in a row where nobody goes to the garage. So, about that. Lap number 53 out of 65. We'll probably go green on lap 55 is what I'll guess, because keep a close eye on the pace car lights there. If they turn off after he crosses the start-finish line here, then that could mean, or that will mean, that we're going green next time by. Let's take a look. Keep a close eye. Pace car lights are off. Don't know why my voice cracked there. In any case, I don't know why, you know, looks like Sasak is not going to be on the lead lap, so interesting. I would have thought that he would have gotten a wave around, but I was wrong. Guess not. We'll go green with 11 laps to go, which could very well mean that we're going to see a, you know, big battle for the lead. Sasak might be the only thing holding him up, but I don't think Sasak was being that slow. I think he was just a little bit damaged and being held up by everybody else. But on the back stretch, hopefully for the last time under caution. Going green with 11 laps to go. This could be a good battle. Lattimore might get his first win, but so might Joseph and everybody else behind him into the restart zone. In the quad oval, we have a green flag. 11 to go from the Aaron's 200 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Tony Shopik is going to pit lane. He is serving a black flag. Shopik jumped the restart is what we're hearing. So, while we're at it, let's take a look. So, this will be a good way to determine what happened. So, you can see right here, he starts to go right here, right there. He starts to go. Here's the restart line. You can't go until you're at that line. So that will be a black flag he will serve. And now Winnie Calhoun is in the lead. Working with Sam Joseph here. He's going to be battling with him. As they're going back in that pack racing everybody knows and loves that we saw during the first half of this race. Before the pit stops. Sasak jumping to the inside. Calhoun is slower. Here comes Sam Joseph up the outside. He got a real good jump there. Joseph back in the lead. This could be his first career win at any level. I thought he was going to go down to try to block Sasak there, but he did not. Now he readjusts back in the line on that outside, and he's going to block Calhoun. Here comes Brad Stover with a good run. He's behind Sasak, so he's going to have to get around the lap guy first. Brad Stover is going to take that lead, I think. He almost did, and now he will. Brad Stover in the lead. And now, to any prospective viewer in the stands, they might think that Eli Sasak was in the lead, but if they looked at the pylon, they would have known he's a lap down, so this might unlap him. But he's not going to be unlapped for long, because I don't think he's going to be out in front of everybody else when the checkered flag flies, or even when the white flag flies. I just don't see that happening. Here comes Jay Bird to the inside. Sam Joseph on the outside. And now Bird has to get a good run from Wilkins here to make it work. Stover's trying to force Sasak out of the way as we come to 5 to go. And Calhoun at the outside. I thought he was going to try to make a pass, but I don't think that would have worked if that were to happen. They're 3 wide again. This could be a really good finish if I'm being honest. Look at Sasak running up the middle line. He's going to try to block Stover. I don't know why Sasak is blocking the rest of the field. What he should try to do is he should try to not interfere with the leaders, because I'll tell you, whoever ends up being blocked by Eli Sasak to determine who wins the race, if somebody gets blocked by the 9 car and it costs them a win, then there's going to be some hands being thrown in pit lane. We've already seen some hands being thrown in pit lane. Gustava ended up having basically a black eye after Daytona after what he did to the 13 car. So, you know, take that. Jay Bird on the inside, though, he's not complaining about Sasak because he's holding up his competition. As long as he doesn't come down and block Jay Bird, then he'll be fine. 2 laps to go from the Aaron's 200. Jay Bird trying to make sure that Sasak can't clear him. He's trying to make sure that 9 car cannot clear him, and he's trying to make sure that Sam Joseph can't clear him either. Coming back to the stripe. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Jay Bird falls back a little bit further, but Sam Joseph is still going to be in the lead. Although, look at this. Jay Bird barely got the edge off of 2, but Sam Joseph has a good run on the backstretch. One final time through turn number 3 and 4. Sam Joseph, maybe not the best run. This will be a drag race back to the line. Sam Joseph will win at Atlanta by less than half a car length. Great finish and a great battle. And now Sam Joseph will go to victory lane for the first time in the MSCECR. That was really close. Stover and Bird were off by 1/1000th of a second. That tells you how close that battle for second was. 35 cars finished on the lead lap. 37 finished the race. This is the second race in a row. Actually, this is the third race in a row where all of the cars finished the race. There has not been a single DNF this season. So keep that in mind, folks. This is Dan Wilkins signing off for now. Oh boy, a good one from Atlanta. We'll bring you to leg number 2 of the doubleheader from the Cup race at Atlanta. The SunTrust 400, which is a little bit longer than this one. But Sam Joseph wins. We'll see you guys next time.